What's up guys, it's Logan here from the Motorcycle Forge, and today we're getting back on to making our cylinder head from scratch. Now, we ended the last video with the bottom of the keg looking like a dried up lake bed, so I've spent some time cleaning that out. And now I have a pile of broken up concrete outside on the ground. Now I did learn a couple of things from this which is kind of useful. I learned that I think I actually want it slightly thicker and that this stuff's kind of crap. Now I've done what I should have done in the first place, and I went out and bought some proper refractory cement. So this stuff here is rated to 1650 degrees Celsius, so that is a lot hotter than the melting point of aluminium, so that should do the job just fine. Right, we're outside this morning because this stuff here is pretty nasty. It does not smell good, so we want to be in a well ventilated area. And I've just cleaned out the wagon thing, which I'm going to mix all the cement up in. This is ready to go, and we've got the scales and everything, so let's start weighing it up. Now to mix it up, not too wet and not too dry. The refractory has set. This has been drying for a couple days and there's no cracks and no shrinkage, so I'm super happy with that. I've got the Bunnings bucket ready, I've cut a hole in it, I've cut the top off. That fits over nicely and that will be our mold for the inside. The handles also are back from the ceramic coaters and they are looking super spiffy, so I can't wait to bolt them on. And yeah, so it's all going according to plan, fingers crossed. Right, handles are on, they're looking super sturdy and I'm really happy with them. As you can see, the nuts on the inside I have welded on, and now I've got some stainless 3mm here which I've got to bend into a couple rings, and so that's the next thing to do before we can do the last thing, which is put the refractory in the lid and the liner. Couple hours later, it's all drilled and riveted on the top and the bottom, and it is looking nice and sharp, and I'm pretty happy with it. There's a small gap at each end because I made a couple mil too short, but oh well, doesn't bother me. Now, I've already drilled the hole in the side, and as you can see, I used a bit of tape for a guide, and to make the hole line up perfectly with the plastic, I used the pipe, which is the size of this hole, and I just heated up red hot, and I just burned the hole straight through pretty much, and as you can see, it fits like a glove, and just, yeah, burnt out this wee plastic. And now the base, I've got that ready. I have taped the pipe in there inside and out, and it's nice and tight and it should be pretty good. All I've got to do now is half fill this bucket with some sand, and that means that it's not going to lift up or move around when I'm putting the cement around the outside. And now they are setting, so it's going to take at least 3 days before I want to remove the sand and try pull all the stuff out of this one and the center out of the lid. Bugger. So this thing here is really stuck in there, and I'm going to have to use the hammer. I have got it to move, I don't know, 5mm with the hammer, so I'm going to have to hammer it away at this for a while. Wow, that was a giant pain in the ass, but I got it out after a lot of cursing and hammering and cutting and thinking, and that was a big waste of time. Looks like it may come off, not too bad. So my plan is to just sort of cut it down both sides. Feels like it's gonna come out. Woohoo! Not too shabby, and my God is it hard, but you can see where it's still not as set, and it looks not too bad from there. There's a few dents which that just adds a bit of character. Now I've got to try to get that out of there. Now it's made of plastic, so fingers crossed it's a piece of cake. Now to get this out, I'm going to use the blowtorch. There we go. Oh man, I wish the steel one was that easy to get out, my God. Now, bit of progress report. I have made myself a burner which should produce a nice big flame. So now I'm going to hook this all up, give it a test, and then I'm going to do a couple heat cycles on this. And I've had my electric kiln going, and I have burnt out another couple molds. So this is this is stainless and it comes out this color. And as you can see, this stuff in here, I'll just set that down. That's what remains of the plastic, and it's literally just like papery ash. It just falls to bits, so I'll just use a little bit of compressed air and I'll be able to blow the remainder of that out. Oh, that's producing quite a bit of heat already. Right, so the furnace burner turned itself off. It has ran out of gas. Anyway, I don't want to blow up the house. Now we've got our 3 practice molds here. So as you can see, they've got different size feeders. So I want to see which one fills up the casting the most. Now with the furnace and the burner all done, that leaves one thing left, and that is tongs and some sort of device to pour the molten metal out of the crucible. Now, this is my crucible here, and as you can see, I've bent up a couple steel rings which will have some sort of pivoty clamping thing. I have a second-hand clutch cable off a race bike, and I have some stuff down here, some second-hand steel, and I've got a clutch lever here, but this one's kind of broken. I'll have to fix that. But yeah, my plan is to be able to hold it with one hand, actuate a clutch lever which will operate the clampy thing, and I should be able to lift it out, pour the metal, and do it all in one swift motion. I'm going to do most of that off camera, so cut to that now. And 10 days later, we have ourselves a crucible grabbing retracto go-go gadget arm majig. So clutch lever, clutch cable goes through it, comes out, and then it goes onto this arm which I have modified, and it is still on a spline shaft so I can adjust it. There's a clutch spring here which I've had to make it slightly tighter with a washer, and then it goes down here. I've got a couple con rod ends, and then I've got this washer here for adjusting where it wants to sit. I've welded a nut on the end of it so that it can't move too much that way, and you just pull the lever and it opens like that, and it seems to work not too bad. But yeah, so it fits over the crucible, can let go, and then I can have both my hands free to control and pour the crucible with the molten aluminium. Okay team, it's the moment of truth. The molds themselves, the test ones, are in the kiln, and I've got that set to about 250 degrees Celsius, and I made a wee plinth for the crucible to sit on, and that there is the other half of my thermocouple. And so when the crucible is sitting on top of it, I should be able to measure the temperature at the bottom of the crucible, and that should give me maybe an accurate reading of how hot the aluminium is. And the aluminium, I managed to get that cut. It's 1 kg, so it's definitely more than I'll need. I was quite nervous when I was running this inside, so I did take it outside, and it's quite breezy out there, and the draft kept pretty much messing with the air-fuel ratio and turning it off, which is not ideal. And so I got sick of that, and I wanted to take it outside because I could smell gas, and I was thinking maybe I got a leak, and I did. I actually found a leak, so I'm really happy I've sorted that out, and I can no longer smell gas when I'm running it. Next problem, I've been running this for a while. It's about 400 degrees, so we're only a couple hundred, 200-300 away from where we want to be. But as you can see, there is moisture coming out of the furnace. So that's the refractory has not dried 100%, and it needs to be cycled a couple more times to much higher temperature, which is kind of a bummer because I don't want any moisture anywhere near molten aluminium. When water evaporates, it expands like 1,000 times, and that'll cause the molten metal to go everywhere. And on that disappointing note, this has been Logan from the Motorcycle Forge. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time.